Hello, everybody, and welcome to our Synchro Friday open office hours. My name is Tatiana, and I'll let the team introduce themselves.
Everyone, happy Friday. I'm Brandy.
Hey, everybody, I'm Hannah. It's nice to see familiar faces and new faces.
Yes, everybody, welcome. If you are new here, thank you for joining us. If you join us on a weekly basis, you might notice that something is different here today. We are missing Crystal. She is not able to join us today, but we are definitely still going to be here and help with everything that we can in regards to answering your questions. That is what we're here for today, is to help you guys answer your questions with whatever it might be, whether you're just looking at Synchro for the first time, whether you've been with Synchro for a while, you want to maximize how to use invoicing or whatever else it might be. If you have antivirus questions, stuff like that, that is what we're here for. We have, all three of us have blocked the next hour on our calendars to spend time and talk about the things that are the most important to you. So a couple things for housekeeping. Please make sure to use the Q&A to drop your questions. That is the easiest way for us to stay organized, to make sure that we are staying on top of your questions. Each of us will grab a couple here and there individually, and it just helps keep the things running smoothly. And please remember that your questions do drive the conversation. So I know it's fun to kind of sit back sometimes and hang out and just see what other people are asking, but your questions do drive the conversation. So if there's anything you're curious about, please let us know. That's what we're here for. We will be dropping some links into the chat box, which we use separately in regards to, like, if we're speaking about a certain KB or we want you guys to have access to other videos or other resources, we'll drop those links into the chat box. So again, please use the Q&A to ask your questions. So that's basically what I have for you as a quick intro. Looks like we have more and more people filtering in. So welcome, everybody. So happy to have you. And I guess we'll just wait for the first question to pop in. Sometimes it takes a second to get going. So between us three salespeople, we can talk about Synchro for hours and hours. So let us know what you want us to tell you about.
While we are waiting for some questions to come through, I would love to just jump in and talk about our amazing referral program, if you guys hadn't heard about it. So I'll just take a couple minutes to share my screen. But if you haven't joined our referral program and you are an existing Synchro user, please join. It is awesome. And then that way you could have the option to get a $100 gift card of your choosing for referring someone to come on board with Synchro. You do get it once they become a Synchro customer for 60 days, and they actually get one too, which is even cooler. And so to start that process, there's two ways to do it. You can be inside your Synchro account and do it in the App Center. And so inside of the App Center here, we will have a referral app card for you here where you could go ahead and click on that and start that flow. If you hit the more information here with the question mark, it will walk you through that process. So we'll come back to that. You can also do it from the website. And so on the website here under resources, we will have that referral program. And so then go ahead and sign me up right there for that. And then with the referral program, it does create an account for you where then you can manage your referrals. It also gives you awesome links that you'll be able to share. And then once the person that you refer gets your link, that they're going to see this page here. And then that way they'd be able to submit their information. And then that way you'll be able to see if they are going to go ahead and come on board. And then we will take it from there. Any terms and conditions or questions about that are listed here. And I will drop this in the chat box.
Yes, and keep in mind it is for new customers. So if you referred someone a while back, unfortunately, it is just it's just for new customers. So, or for new people who are signing up for the first time, I guess. If you're a new customer or an old customer or whatever, it doesn't matter. You can absolutely sign up for that referral program. And I think you can be in a trial too. I don't think you have to be a paying customer of ours. So that's awesome. Thanks so much for sharing that.
Yeah, thank you.
A couple of questions in here. So Craig has a really great question. He's asking about WebRoot. So is there any way to move my current WebRoot licensing to Synchro, or can I create a new account under Synchro and then flip licenses from my other accounts? So I'm going to share my screen, and we don't have a lot of questions right now. So I'm going to show you a few really cool things about the antivirus. So I'm in the App Center. we do offer the Bitdefender, Webroot, and MCSoft. You are able to bring your own existing account from either of those three and migrate it over to Synchro, and we'll handle the billing for you. So we would now, if you're on an annual subscription of Synchro, we still charge you monthly based on usage. If you're month to month, it comes each month with your subscription. You just have to click into the Webroot app card. And what you're going to do is you're going to, I have one set up already, but it'll take you through the process of actually migrating. Webroot will reach out to Synchro usually about 24 hours later and let us know at what date you can migrate that account. And that's just simply so that there's not you're not paying double, essentially. We don't want you to pay double. So they'll let us know if your existing account is either month to month, or if you're on like an annual and it's up within 90 days, then you're going to be able to migrate that over. Really easy deployment directly inside of the policy itself. And then it looks like some questions are strolling in. So I am going to just touch on a couple things that I think can help you guys. And one of those is how to make money using this feature. So really easily, you're able to create a saved asset search, and you can quickly identify, you know, if you're using MCSoft, Bitdefender, Webroot, I could say, okay, if they're missing those or missing antivirus in general, you can actually create this nice little search here. You can use our mailer campaign, which is going to target a group of devices or customers. So I could say, hey, let's just send over an email to everyone who's missing antivirus and offer them antivirus, let them know the importance, what you can do for them. So I think this is a really excellent way for you guys to get bites and to really make money overnight. So really love that feature. As well as under the customer, or excuse me, the asset detail, you're going to be able to run scans directly in our system, no matter which one of the three you're using as well. So you'll notice on that AV tab, there's going to be an option to run a full scan or a quick scan, and then you're going to see threats below too. It's going to let you know what is installed on this device and if it's managed or not. And there's automated remediations you can set up, you know, deleted malware, blocked malware. You can bill your customers dynamically. There's just so many different ways to utilize it in the system. So if you have any questions specifically about AV, you can feel free to pop those in today as well. And then I also have a question from Gary. Is there a way to exclude certain patches from downloading or installing? So while I'm sharing, there isn't a way to exclude, but what you can do in a policy, when you install Synchro, we're essentially looking for everything that's available on this device. And then from there, you're going to choose the categories and what you want to install. So if I know under Windows patches that it might be a KB that I do not want to install, I'm just not going to select that category. What will happen is it'll show up as a missing patch, essentially either on the asset detail page, or we do have two really nice reports for missing patches by KB as well as vulnerable systems, and you'll be able to install from there. So we hear you on that, but right now that would be the workaround. Hopefully that helps.
I'm going to grab this question from David. Is there a way to see if an invoice has an attachment without going into each invoice? Great question. I just did some testing here to see if we would get that in the preview, but it doesn't look like we did. I do have an attachment in here, and so I hit this quick view modal to see kind of some quick information, but it doesn't say if there's an attachment in there. You do at this time need to click into the invoice itself.
Okay, awesome. Thank you, Hannah. I'm going to grab a couple questions here. We'll start at the top. Marco says, newbie here, love Synchro, and I am having fun setting everything up. Good, glad to hear it. Question 1, when setting up Bitdefender, if I click on the Bitdefender modules, do they have an additional charge? I'm new to Bitdefender and usually resell Malwarebytes. So yeah, let me share my screen. The modules do not cost extra. They do not. I will show you which ones I'm actually talking about. If you head over to your policies section through Synchro, you click into any policy, you scroll down about halfway, a little bit more than halfway. In here, you will find these Bitdefender modules. None of these cost anything extra. So if this is something that you are wanting to offer to your customer, that is going to be included at no additional cost, depending on the price range that you fall under. The more endpoints you have, the cheaper it gets. Starts out at $1.30 per month per workstation. Separately from that, though, is if we go over to our App Center, we do have additional add-ons that you can choose from through Bitdefender. Again, with Bitdefender out of the box, just in the core product offering that we have with them, it also does include web filtering and DNS filtering at no extra cost. So if you needed things like the EDR module, advanced threat security, email security for your customers, maybe in the banking industry, doctors, lawyers, people who need next layer protection, you can choose these different optional add-ons and enable those through the Bitdefender Gravity Zone portal. That's where you would enable them. But the ones here in the policy come included along with the web filtering and DNS filtering at no extra cost. So hopefully that helps answer your question. I'm going to grab another Bitdefender related question here to, I believe it's from, let me find it. Sometimes these get a little bit jumbled up. I'll have to skip it. Larry asks, will there ever be a SentinelOne integration? From what I've heard, they have a contract with somebody else. I think they only integrate with one RMM. So as much as we would love to offer as many antivirus as possible, I don't think that SentinelOne is something that would be here like next week at Friday at 12 p.m. Pacific Standard Time or something like that, as much as we do want to offer it. So not at this time. And then the last one that I'll grab here, there's a couple more another question from Marco says, I'm on a trial, but definitely jumping in at the end. Good news. Want to sign a client on Synchro Backup, but the option is not available for me. Is this because of the trial? Thanks again. Yes, on the trial, Synchro Backup is not available. We are in the process of relaunching and rebranding Synchro Backups, so it's not available to test right now. If you do move forward, you would be able to run it on a couple machines just to test the functionality that you need. Next one is from Christopher. He says, I'm not getting Splashtop installed on macOS agents that I've installed. How do I get that pushed? So at this time, Splash or like automatically deploy onto the Mac agents. That's not currently available. That is something that we're working towards. That is going to be released pretty soon, I would say, at least within the next probably quarter or so. So that's what I have to say regarding that. And then the last one is from John. This is the Bitdefender question I was looking for. He says, do you have some training on how to set up Bitdefender Gravity Zone so it will scan when you need it to? Yes, I'll drop a link for you, John, and it will walk you through A to Z, everything that you need to know in the Bitdefender Gravity Zone portal.
Yeah, and I want to just kind of chime in too. If you guys are interested, whether you are trialing Synchro or you are a paid customer and you don't currently use one of the antivirus options, if you are interested in a demo with an engineer of Bitdefender, of MCSoft, of WebRoot, let one of us know and we can get you connected with them. They're really excellent. I promise it's not like a sales call. They understand you would be getting it through Synchro. It's really just to show you how to use the portal, how to set it up, what the integration looks like. Definitely recommend it. I connect people with them all the time. So do that. And then Izzy is asking, can you show a brief demo on bringing in and using QuickBooks desktop? So I'm going to share my screen with you really quickly. And in the App Center, which you guys, if you haven't played around in the App Center, tons of excellent integrations in here. QuickBooks. So I do have QuickBooks desktop connected. What you're going to do is you're going to follow this wizard. There's like a list of 7 or 8 things that you're going to do, step-by-step guidance. We do have a KB on that I can drop in the chat box unless someone beats me to it. So I will do that. And then you're going to notice on your settings page too, you can select, okay, I want to sync invoices over to Synchro, and then what you want to import as well from QuickBooks into Synchro upon initial setup. You can do that. And then of course you can choose, okay, I want to send my payments, my customers, my invoices. So there's going to be a settings page, but it really is like just step by step in order to get that connected. And I think we've been having some little deep dive sessions as well on different topics. I do think that QuickBooks was one that we recently did. I can check and see if there's a recording on that one for you. I'll go ahead and do a couple others. Marco's asking, he wants to poll the group. So he says, MCSoft or Bitdefender, looking to hear opinions of seasoned MSPs on what integration has worked better in Synchro. I'm not an MSP at all, and I don't use either one. I know the integration in terms of MCSoft is a little tighter, but you don't have as many options as you do with Bitdefender. So feel free if someone has had experience with both or one or the other and you want to share your experience, drop that in so we can give that advice over to Marco. That would be really excellent. Ken says, when adding a customer, this is funny. I got this same exact thing in an email today. When adding a customer, and it wasn't from you, I will put the main point of contact in for the customer, phone number, and email address. Then I don't add them as a contact, which then in turn doesn't give me the ability to tag their assets to them, causing issues with tickets looking like they don't have an end user assigned. What do you recommend as a best practice when adding customers to get around these issues? Do you recommend not requiring emails and phone numbers and adding the main point of contact as a contact? So yeah, actually, there's a couple different ways that you can do this. And the one earlier today was the gentleman was asking me, he wanted to be able to give the end user remote access because they weren't a contact and you couldn't have the contact the same as this email. That wasn't possible. So there's two options. You don't have to require it at all for the customer information and then add the main point of contact as a contact. You're also going to be able to say, okay, they get the billing emails, the marketing emails. So they're still essentially kind of that main point of contact. You could have a dummy email address here. But I would make sure you add them as a contact if you're looking to give them end user remote access, assign a contact to them. I would absolutely do that. So good question. I think I have a couple others in here. So Craig is asking follow up to WebRoot. I also have clients in WebRoot that I do not manage. Their IT takes care of it and I just sell WebRoot to them and give them admin access to their account. Will purchasing WebRoot from Synchro work the same? So you don't have to have the Synchro agent installed in order to provide Bitdefender or WebRoot to those customers. So if you're just selling it separately through WebRoot right now, you could do that through the portal and then provide those licenses. The billing would still go through Synchro. It just wouldn't be a managed device in Synchro. So really good question. And then Darren, I think this is the last one I'll grab, and then I'll let someone else chat. Oh, wait, it just disappeared. Oh, here we go. What is the best way to create and track projects in Synchro? New customer onboarding, offboarding, refresh of old equipment, customer expansion, new installations, etc. If I use a standard ticket, it messes with the service desk ticket metrics. I would like to treat projects as separate from service, as projects can go on for weeks or even months sometimes. We hear you on that. We don't have a separate project module right now. I can say what majority of people are doing inside of Synchro for projects is handling them on a ticket, since that's the only way to do it today. They will use a labor rate for tickets, or excuse me, for projects. So I could have a separate project labor rate. I have also seen, I have a couple different things for you. So worksheets, of course, you can use worksheets for projects or certain ticket types that you think you're going to work on pretty often. I could have a worksheet for that. I have also seen people do, I kind of worked through this with someone the other day, is having a dashboard, your open ticket dashboard. If you just want to see your projects, you could essentially create like a custom status if you want to, and only show that status on your project dashboard now, rather than like your ticket dashboard. So if you just want someone to be able to keep in mind, this part is still going to be here, but if you want them to just see all of their projects, that would be a way. As well as in the ticket view, you could create like a default view or a saved search of your projects based on how you have those set up. Ticket type, maybe it's a project. You could absolutely do that. So today they are handled inside of a ticket.
Awesome. Thank you so much. Darren has a question. Is there a way to send monthly statements to the customer that show open invoices, payments made, and open balance due? Darren, let me go ahead and share my screen with you. And so I want to highlight one specific report that I think will take care of this for you. I'm not sure if it does payments made, but it open balances by customer report. If we go ahead and open that one, it will go ahead and give you open balances by a certain date, and then you actually can send statements. And so where you find where the PDF statements are for these are going to be in the admin section. And so in admin, under PDF and email templates, but then you will have a statement template. And so we'll get a nice preview here to show the invoices here and then what is currently due and then possibly past due as well. And so that's where I would recommend for you there. And then I have one more in here. And it's also from Darren. Is there a way to view an alert history of a Synchro device, i.e. closed or deleted alerts? I would like to look back at the alerts each device was throwing and look for trends like app crashes or particular computers of customers. Yes, so also in the report section, there's going to be an asset activity audit where then you can search by filter by customer and filter by asset name. You can also select a period and then your activity type is going to be RMM alert. Hopefully that helps.
Super helpful. Thank you, Hannah. I have a couple questions I'm going to address here. First one is from Darren says, is the code.io Synchro Snmp page being maintained anymore? I think about 2 or 3 months ago, there was a bunch of recipes in there. Now it's empty. Yeah, that one was a little heartbreaking. It was managed by the community. Somebody in the who was a user of Synchro, I believe, did create that community sourced Snmp library, but I also checked on it a couple months ago and it is no longer there, which I don't know what happened there, but it's no longer available. The next question is from John. As a help desk manager, when reviewing tech hour reports, sometimes it can be difficult to manually go through each labor item logged by a technician and separate travel times versus actual labor items. Are there any plans to expand the reporting features, or perhaps is there something different I could be doing? Funny you should ask. We actually just released a new internal IT report. That is what I would recommend to take a closer look at to find the information that you're looking for. It's going to be very similar to the executive summary report builder, which I talked about that last week. Super cool, ton of really great metrics to help you prove your value to your customers. But the one that you want to look at is this internal one, to where you can build out multiple reports based on what is important to you. So like tech hours, drive time versus on-site time or something like that. And then just play with the settings in here. So let's go ahead and edit. And it gets really granular. You can create a visual summary, visual block where it'll be like a pie chart or like a graph versus like a text summary section. And then when you click into each of these, again, super easy to use, it'll show a bunch of different type of metrics. So tickets by type, or you can say, I think the last time I looked at this might be the visual block, labor hours. And then how do you want that filtered? Do you want it for all customers or just one customer? So again, not 100% sure which exactly perfect settings to choose from you, but hopefully knowing about this report and knowing how to kind of maximize that, it will be helpful to you, because once you set the template here, you can then obviously apply that template to run the report, and then even run it on a schedule to your inbox if you wanted that, like on a daily, end of the day basis, weekly basis, whatever it might be. Hopefully that is helpful to you. And then I had a question here from Kincaid, Bitdefender question. We had an incident to repeatedly ban a website in the content control of Bitdefender. There were logs of this in Bitdefender, but never received an alert in Synchro. Should we have, or is Synchro only going to alert on actual malware incidents? Yeah, malware and blocked or deleted malware. So I'll share my screen. We do have here within our automated remediation section, I'll show you the sample that I have set up. If you go to alerts, manage automated remediation, you can create one where it says if the trigger category is Bitdefender here, and alert body contains deleted malware or alert body contains blocked malware, then I want to automatically convert into a ticket that says AV blocked, status is resolved since it already did the work for you. Let the customer know, or maybe leave a private comment. So this will work, but it won't filter in every single possible alert from Bitdefender. I think these are the 2 out of the box that I know about. If there's suggestions of things that would be useful for you to know about that you want to get alerts on, please reach out to our help@synchromsp.com so that we can pass that along to our team, as well as to Bitdefender, to see how that can be built for you guys, if that's going to be either saving you time or making you money. And it applies to most of you guys. We want to build stuff like that. So definitely a very, very valuable feedback. That's it for me.
Awesome. Here we go again. I've got 2 questions about Microsoft feature updates. Synchro does not do those natively in the system, and that's truly because they don't play nice with any RMM. If an RMM offers it, usually when you click the button, it's running a script in the back end. So we don't supply the script. You can find one, I'm sure, in the if you Google it or you find someone in a like the Facebook group. I think I've seen people share it there, or Reddit. Just know like Synchro doesn't provide that, and so we haven't vetted and tested anything that someone's going to provide to you. In the community script library, anything that you find there, those have been vetted and tested by our team. So they're not going to be native. So Roger and Kimberly both had the same type of question there. Izzy's just following up on the QuickBooks desktop. Will it bring over only Synchro selected customers with QuickBooks? So when you import from QuickBooks, it'll import all customers, because we kind of assume that you have not added like that would be a way you could start out in the beginning, is to import all of your customers. So you can definitely do that. It's not going to create any duplicates if you do already have any in Synchro. As long as the first name, last name, domain, that all matches, then you'll be fine there. John has a good question. So is there a way to see if a client has seen the invoice we send out? I also have some clients that the invoice goes to spam or junk. So what I just did a couple seconds ago so that you guys could see this is I just opened this invoice from a customer portal, and let me just look at 7407, the ticket number. So invoice number. I'm going to go open this. And what it's going to do is right here, it's going to show you when they viewed it. So I viewed it 4 minutes ago, just in the back end for you all, but it'll tell you this is on an estimate as well. You're going to be able to see when they viewed it from their portal. So that would be a way to do it. I don't think it shows like otherwise if you sent out an email with a PDF, but if they did it from their portal, then you would absolutely be able to see that. And Craig is just following up on the alert history. So even if you clear the alert, it would show up like on a report, because we assume you're going to want to clear all of your alerts at some point. So that would show up on the reports. And I really like the executive summary report builder to show like the most common report or alerts. That would be a good one too. And I think that's it. That's all for me.
Awesome. Thank you so much. That was great. Christopher just has a follow-up question about the remote access for Splashtop on macOS. Yes, that's not available yet. And the backgrounding tools are not available either. And then Gary has a question. If I sell widget A to many different customers, many different times, how do I compile a list of who and how many widget A each customer bought over a week, month, or other specified time frame? And so, Brandy, if you don't mind, if I could share my screen. Awesome. Okay, so I was just drilling into some of these reports for you. So I would definitely recommend exploring some of these sales reports. One of them is product sales report. And so let me just go back to start in the beginning. And so here in the report section, there's going to be a sales by product report. And so in here, you are able to specify by specific category and then by period. You can even search it based against a saved customer search and then be able to run a report this way. And so if I go ahead and run my report, I can see this by product if I haven't specified the specific category, and then the units sold and the average cost and total price here. And so that could give it to me this way. You could filter it a little bit further by utilizing a saved customer search. But then there's also going to be sales summary by customer. And so being able to see what by specific customer that the sales summary that is sold. And then there is one more I would have you explore, and I do believe it's sales detail. And so with the sales detail, you will be able to search by specific client and then by specific period.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, next question here is about how to get plugged into the Syncro community. So this one's from Marco. He says, there are many Facebook groups for Syncro users. Is there any site or forum or resource beside your website for new users like myself to avoid ask silly questions? No such thing. We're happy to answer your questions. If you're thinking it, there's probably somebody else that's wondering the same thing. So thank you for for asking. Thanks again for answering my previous ones. Helped big time. Yeah, we're happy to do that. So yes, we do have a Synchro subreddit that we recommend. I just dropped that into the chat box, as well as the Synchro Facebook group. Obviously beyond the KB articles and attending open office hours, I think between those 4 resources, you should be in a pretty good place there, Marco. And then I'll grab another one here from Randy. This is a pretty cool request. It is a feature request at this time. He says, if we enable the customer portal and we want to allow access, can we set a cutoff date of how far back they can go? So I just checked, there isn't a way to do that. So for those of you, if you are new to Synchro, if you're over in the admin section and then you go under your customer profile or customer section, and then portal user permissions groups, you can choose for your customers who on their team has access to which parts of the customer portal, which I'll show you just a second. But it looks like they can only view invoices or pay invoices. There isn't a way to set like only view invoices from this year or whatever it might be. And since there aren't a ton of questions, super quick, I do want to show what that portal looks like from the customer's perspective. Because again, if you do integrate a payment processor into Synchro, it will they will be able to make a payment here. So again, your logo here, you can change this color. You can remove any of those based on that permissions section that I just showed you. But yeah, they'll be able to see their invoices, preview the PDF, and then make a payment via this portal as well. So hopefully that's helpful to those of you guys that are new here.
Tatiana, do you want to go ahead and Randy has a question on the portal and you're pretty deep into that. So
sure.
Can you see his question?
The one below that? Yeah.
Yeah.
You got it. Can you go over some of the things we can allow via customer portal? So if we allow customer access via Splashtop for $5, how would they do that? For example, an admin being able to access all systems versus a user being able to access their own. So good. Okay, really good stuff. Yeah, let's dive into this. So again, I'm going to go to let's think about when you're initially onboarding a brand new customer. Obviously, first you would build out their customer profile, name, phone number, address, stuff like that. You also need to set up contacts for every employee that works there. So go ahead and import via CSV. If you click this import button, template to contacts and basically just upload them in one fell swoop. Here on the contact level, so make sure you have contacts listed there. Next step is to go to that section in the admin section that I showed you to build out different levels of access for the portal. So again, under customers, portal user permission groups, you can make these as detailed as you want. So for example, you can set an admin portal group or like business owner portal group. They have access to seeing everything, or a manager. Maybe you want some of the employees to only view documentation. So you would edit this portal user permission group, documentation only. I'm going to unselect all and say only documentation. If for some reason that's literally all that you wanted them to see. So step number 1, build the business. Step number 2, import the contacts. Step number 3, set up the portal user permission groups to the level of granularity that you want them to have. And then now go back to the contacts here and now assign the level of permission that you have for on a contact per contact basis. So yes, I want to enable the portal user right here. What level of access do you want them to have based on the portal groups that you just built out right here? So you can say, yep, I want them to only see access to documentation. Yes, set up MFA. This is, so to answer your question where it says enable remote access, this is if your customer, let's say, is wanting to work from home and they need access to their work computer or multiple work computers. You could say, yep, I want to enable remote access, and it'll say, hey, make sure all of this stuff is enabled. And again, this is dependent on the level of access that you give within the portal groups. Do they have access to only their own asset versus do they have access to multiple assets? Portal user permission groups, if you want to go here, you can say assets view all or only view mine. And that's how you restrict. If you only want them to see theirs, that would be available here. Let's see, did I miss anything in the question? Yeah, so I mean, that's basically it. Set up the portal user group, set up the MFA. You can set their passwords. And then if you enable remote access, it does cost $5 per user with unlimited endpoints. So if you guys have any pricing questions regarding that, please let us know. I'm happy to provide as much clarity as possible, but I'll stop talking here for a minute because I feel like that took like 10 minutes at least. So let me know if you need any more clarity or anything else. Let us know.
Does that mean it's me? I think I have one. Larry is just asking about recurring calendar appointments. We don't have recurring calendar appointments. Recurring tickets, yes, but if it does have an appointment on there, it will not recur. So definitely a feature request.
Sean has another awesome feature request. He's asking if there is a way to lock the asset searches, just so that when he's looking in the asset and RMM counter, he doesn't accidentally delete one, I think. And then that way it doesn't come off of his recurring invoice. So that's an awesome feature request. I will absolutely pass that along. For those of you who haven't seen saved asset searches, they are awesome. They're this little magnifying glass over here, or you can select them over here. So we give you 2 ways to grab them. And so from here, you would be able to go ahead and execute a saved search that then you can actually bill against, which is awesome. And so I can see here where you would want to go ahead and lock these up. There isn't that functionality right now, but I will pass that along as a feature request for sure.
I'll grab a follow-up question from Randy. He says, if we set up a user in the portal, do they log directly into Synchro? No, they would log into their customer portal. So I'll show you a couple different ways you can give them access to finding their customer portal. So option number 1 is going to be over in the admin section. And we're going to scroll down to right here, PDF and email template. So when you initially invite them to be a portal user, they are going to get an email. And let me find the one right here, portal invitation email. So it says this is set to customers' contacts when enabling them as a portal user. It'll give you a layout that you want, and they can register themselves. So they will now have created themselves a profile basically for the customer portal. And also on any other temp email that you send them, like for example, I think it's mostly the ticket ones. I think the invoice ones include them, but so like ticket comment email, I don't know if this one will have, if this one's going to be a good example, but for the most, nope, not a good example. For the most part, it's going to say like, view more details via the customer portal, and it'll have a link based on any correspondence. I think we edited some of these, so they're not as like super clear. Let me see the invoice one. Statement email might be this one. Like this. View your account profile online. And when they click that link, it will take them specifically to their own customer portal. So that's another way they can access their customer portal. A third way would be if you wanted to enable access via the system tray icon, you could do that to where when you're building out the policy and building out the system tray icon, you could say, whoops, that asset is offline. Don't know why I clicked that one. I'll show you what it looks like from their perspective. It's like this. So obviously your logo, but this could be one of the menu options is you can say, I want to give them access to the customer portal so they can just quickly open it and view the level of permission that you give them. And so again, this is what it'll look like. Looks like this level of permissions for this end user is only to create a new ticket. So that's why they're not seeing anything else, if that makes sense. So, so they would not be going to synchromsp.com in order to log in to Synchro. They would be using the login information that you give them to only access their customer portal, Synchro customer portal that you enable it for. So it would be like your domain.synchromsp.com/my profile and then their information there. Hopefully that's helpful. Let me know if you have or anybody has follow-up questions.
Awesome, thank you. Couple questions. Larry is asking, is it possible to import ConnectWise managed contracts? So that's not part of the ConnectWise importer right now. I know we've made some updates to that and added quite a few things, but that's not on there. Gary's asking if there's any plans to do other MFA types. We're getting pushback from clients not wanting to install an app for MFA. I haven't heard of any, to be honest. I mean, I use MFA for everything, so I would think that your customers would like the extra layer. I don't know, my app does Authy and Google Authenticator for literally anything that I sign in. I hear you on the SMS, but nothing that I've heard of, to be honest. Let's see, Randy, portal question. If we allow them access to their own devices, $5 per user, can we automate that on a Synchro invoice via counter? I'd like to do one based on type, like charge an admin $25 for all systems versus a single user for $5. Make sense? Yes. So let me show this. And keep in mind, it's still $5 for you, no matter what it is. If it's all users or single users. So on your invoice, or excuse me, all devices or single, you're going to notice that that's one of those dynamic counters. So if you give your client end user remote access, I would just say remote access, Splashtop, and then I'm going to charge them whatever it is, $25. This is the only way to do it. There's not a way to, on this, it's going to count anyone, any contact that has remote access. Now, what you could do is you could create a custom field on a contact that is a dropdown and it says like single user or all devices, and then you can bill dynamically based on contact and type. But just keep in mind, this isn't actually counting how many people have access to devices. It's how many you say have access to their own devices. So that's the difference there. You could use a contact counter, but you could actually count how many have it and charge them X amount per month. But if it costs you $5 a month, I would at least upsell that a little bit. $10. Yes, thank you. I was like, I wouldn't sell it for $5. So do 10 for single. That's what I've heard too. A lot of people ask, like, what are people charging? I've seen a lot of people do like $10 per month.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much, Brandy. I have a couple questions I'm going to grab here. Larry says, is it possible to put a client logo on the record with a custom field? So that's a great question. There isn't a way that I can think of, but I like the suggestion just to like be able to visually see like either the client logo or a photo or something like that. There isn't a way to pop like a picture into a custom field through Synchro. You can obviously attach attachments, but they're not going to be like front and center to like being able to visually see from a list of customers like, oh, okay, I recognize that red and black logo. Let me click into that one specifically. So I will pass it along for you. I like that suggestion. And then Larry says, I'm coming from ConnectWise Manage. Can you explain the difference between SLAs and ticket priority and Synchro? Can priorities be changed? So love this question. Let's dive in. I'm going to head over to the admin section. And this is going to be where you find your SLAs. It's going to be under your ticket section. So over to the left, ticket preferences, or I'm sorry, tickets and then SLAs right here. So what these are used for is creating your settings based on the agreement that you entered with your customer. So mine, I said I have one SLA, that's a 24-hour SLA, details, time to response. I told my customer I'm going to respond to them within 2 hours and fix their problem within 1 day. So SLA breach warning, obviously that one's pretty straightforward. This button is pretty cool. You can pause countdown. So if you're waiting on the customer, that's not counting against, like counterbalancing against your time to resolution, because you literally can't move forward without waiting on them. So this is where you can also set your priority. So to answer your question, can priorities be changed? These are hard coded into Synchro. There aren't any that you can add in here, but you can set a priority for saying like, if this is a 24-hour SLA, that's going to be the most urgent versus like a 48-hour might be high, 72 might be normal or low. So once you save those changes, and again, just part of onboarding your customer, in the contract section, this is going to be where you apply that SLA that has that priority attached to the contract. So you can say, for my customer Larry's business who we just onboarded, I want to set his SLA to 24-hour because that's what we agreed on. So that would be how you can set that. The only other thing that I'll mention is You also have in your ticket automations, you could say like, if this, then that. And for the then part, you can say, I need to switch the priority to urgent. Like if assigned SLA is 24 hours and ticket hasn't been touched in 4 hours, or hours till due date, or not updated in 4 hours, then move it to an even higher priority, or maybe this is 72. You guys get the point. So you can't change them. You can set them based on SLA or ticket automation. And then I think that was my only question. So that's it for me. I'll stop sharing.
Thank you so much. That was super helpful. I'm going to grab a couple here. So Gary has a follow-up question for his report. So I'm understanding it now. So the report for widget A sold to like this list of customers within a specified time frame. So I looked through all the reports again. I don't believe we have a report like that. That would be awesome. So I would definitely pass that along as a feature request. If you'd like to write into technical support just to see if they have any other ideas for a type of report within there, I would absolutely recommend that as well. Warren has a question. How do we change the monitoring profile on an asset? And so with your devices, they are attached to policies. And so if you want to change the type of policy that's on the device, it's really easy to do that. You can select the device itself and then go ahead and hit manage and change policy. And so inside the policies, let's say you wanted to keep this device on its existing policy, but just make some quick changes for what you're monitoring. You can actually drill into the policy itself and execute those changes. So when you go into the policy, if you change the monitoring alerts that you have, you can change those. Do keep in mind when you hit save at the bottom, it is going to apply those changes to all the devices that have that policy assigned. So if you're wanting to just do it for one, you would want to go ahead and create a new policy. So in your policies, you can clone the ones that you have existing and then be able to make those changes and then apply it to the new or to that device. When we have policy inheritance, will be awesome and super easy also, but that would be the way that you do it now. And then Izzy has a question. Earlier, I did see you mention an option for a marketing email. If you could show me. So we do have a mailer option inside of Synchro. And so underneath the mailer, you can actually create your own type of mailer campaigns to go out to your clients. And so inside of the mailer here, let's say, we wanted to go ahead and send them all out something about our services. You can even do it against a saved customer search or a saved RMM search as well in those saved asset searches. And so inside of the mailer here, it can be a one blast mailing. It could go to all your clients or those within one of those saved searches. And then you could customize a marketing email to go out to them.
I can go next. I have a couple questions in here that have been here for about 20 minutes already, and I wanted to say out loud that we are not ignoring you. We just don't know how to answer your question, and we're asking somebody who knows. So Sean, for your question, or if you guys know, please drop it into the Q&A so we can share it with everybody else, but I'm waiting on a response from our team. Sean says, how do you run a script as a domain admin? I don't know. I'm asking my team. Same with Richard. You asked the question, is there a way to gain elevated command prompts or PowerShell from the backgrounding tools? I don't know how to do that, so I'm asking my team, not ignoring you. So thank you so much for your patience. I'm going to grab a couple here. First one is from Sean. He says, I used screenshots when updating tickets in other solutions. It doesn't seem to work in Synchro. So I'm curious where you're looking to find that screenshot functionality. The only one that I know of is that does work very, very well is upon ticket creation. So here within the assets and RMM section, I'm going to launch into a remote session and I'll show you if you want your customer to create their own ticket and include a screenshot, there's a really easy way that you can set that up for them so that they can reach out to you and submit tickets themselves without them calling you. So via the system tray icon, if they're using the agent contact form, you can say include an image of my screen. They can say that, and then when they send their request, it'll be attached as an attachment to the ticket. So that is the only screenshot capability that I know of within Synchro that will automatically attach to a ticket. I don't know if maybe that's a feature through Splashtop, I haven't looked into it of like taking a screenshot and then copy pasting and saving to a ticket, but that would be more of like in a remote session. So not 100% sure on that one. Question from Warren, or actually before we grab the next question, I wanted to really quickly launch a poll because we always want to know you guys better and know who we're speaking with and who is choosing to spend their Friday morning or afternoon or evening with us. So I'm going to launch a quick poll. We would love to know where you are in your Synchro journey. Regarding like if you're just looking at Synchro now for the first time, if you have been with Synchro for a long time, we would love to hear from you. So I'm going to go ahead and launch the poll. And if you could let us know, I'd really appreciate that. Okay, back to the questions. The next one here is from Warren. He says, how can we make sure that all clients have up-to-date Chrome browsers? So let me introduce you to Chocolatey, which is going to take care of this automatically for you. Over in policies, I'm looking at the clock and I can't believe we only have 10 minutes left. This is flying by today with you guys. You guys are keeping us on our toes, which is super, super fun. Okay, if we go over to policies, policy modules, and third-party patch management, in here, when you create a brand new third-party patch management policy, you can say, name it whatever you want, daily basis, whatever. You can be more creative than me. Say Google Chrome, I want to update if present. And so it will take care of it for you, or you can say install and update. And then if you have custom apps, you can add them here through Chocolatey, specify a schedule, and then how often you want that to run. So that would take care of it for you. Another way you could do it is in the assets and RMM section, you could search for create a saved asset search looking for missing updates for our installed application version to make sure it's the one that you need for Chrome specifically. So that would be answering that question. And then Paco, welcome. Thank you for joining us. He said, good morning, ladies. Good morning, Paco. Was curious about the best practice to create a ticket from an automated alert. Okay, automatic ticket from automated alert. So the easiest way to do this would be through the automated remediation. So alerts, manage automated remediation. There's so many different scenarios in here. We could probably spend like an entire webinar just talking about these different use case scenarios, samples in here. But the easiest one that I have here is you can say trigger category is low HD space, CPU usage alarm, agent offline alert, blue screen, whatever it might be. So this is where you set a custom RMM alert, where then you can say, I want to now convert that alert into a ticket and even attach a worksheet if you wanted to of like next steps that you want your tech to take. So that would be the easiest way. And I'll kind of leave it at that because I'm looking at the clock and I'm seeing that we're running out of time pretty quickly there.
I'm going to take this next question really quick. Roger was asking, is there a way to resync invoice with QuickBooks for more than one customer at a time? It's not available in bulk actions. Roger, thanks for your patience on this. I did hear back from support. This would be a feature request at this time that I can absolutely pass along for you. And then Sean has a question back to SLAs. I have SLAs with a customer with different times depending on the priority of the ticket. How would I apply that to my customers? Sean, at this time, if you're going to automate the application of SLAs, it does need to be just one SLA per customer to be in an automated fashion that it can apply to all the tickets. But if you set the SLAs not to apply to all the tickets, you can apply SLAs inside the ticket itself. So let's say you're seeing that the priority level is something here. Now you can adjust the SLA. So especially if you have a certain time to resolution for those, that then you can go ahead and assign the appropriate SLA that way.
Awesome. Thanks, Tana. I'm just going to fly through some of these because we don't have a lot of time. Sean is asking, can you run a script as local admin or domain admin? When you choose to run a script, it's either as when you're setting up the script as logged in user or as admin. So just FYI on that. Marco says, I'm creating my cost and profit structure now. If you have to put a $sign on the Synchro cost for one user, how much would you say? I'm coming from the per seat model, which I hate. That's why I'm here. If you're talking about the Synchro subscription, it's $129 per month, unlimited devices. There's like no questions asked on that, super transparent, posted on our website. If you pay annually, you save $120 a year, but it's paid up front. If you're referring to like how much you would charge your customer, I don't know that, but the group might be able to give you some advice. But I think you're talking about the Synchro seat for one person, $129 per month. Randy is asking, what are subscriptions and manage show in the portal, in the customer portal? So those are just your recurring invoices for that customer. Also in portal privacy settings, let me just pull that up really quickly. Sorry about this. I've got a lot of tabs open. In the portal privacy settings manage, I don't know if you're talking about in like the node or in the security groups for you or in the actual portal user permission groups yourself. So let me just look at this. Portal user permission groups, 26 things that they can have access to. Do you guys know the privacy setting? I think you might, privacy settings. Oh, this. I truly don't know what that one is. Do you?
That tells, yeah, when they basically are like deciding if they can reach out to you, it's in like the top right of the portal, and it lets them like accept marketing emails and like different emails that you would send to them.
Ah, gotcha. Thank you for that, Hannah. Craig said he sent a few questions to security@syncromsp.com. That's actually an internal email. Sorry about that. If you will send to help@syncromsp.com and just in the subject say security questions, that would be excellent. We apologize for that inconvenience. And then Corey, also, I'm not ignoring your sleep timer question. That's a technical support related question. We can't help with like any issues that aren't working properly. So reach out to support and they'll definitely be able to get you set up. And then Gary, third-party apps, why is update if installed missing for custom apps? So in your policies, actually, I won't even show you that since we have a lot of questions, but why it's missing is because we started with just a short list of 20 or 25 applications that are going to be included. And then we added like the entire community repository. Our team had to go in and like code every single thing for update if present. Because the community repository changes all the time, we don't have the ability to do that. So these will just be do not install or install an update. Hopefully that helps.
Awesome, awesome. We are gonna move through these. Sean and Richard, I have an update for you guys. Your questions were, how do you run a script as domain admin? And is there a way to gain elevated command prompt or PowerShell from the backgrounding tool? So the response that I got is for the second question, it will run as logged in user. In the backgrounding tools, there isn't a way to do an elevated command prompt or PowerShell from the backgrounding tools. It will run as logged in user. And same thing for the first question. You can only run as system or logged in user. Domain admin is going to be a feature request. So we will definitely pass that along for you. And then I think Larry had a pretty cool suggestion for Marco. He said, take your assets to begin with and divide them by 129. So what is your cost for Synchro? Divide it by that, and then that will at least cover your cost of the Synchro software. Probably add some more on top of that based on how much you want to get paid of like profit, but definitely just consider all your expenses, divide by how many endpoints you have, try to pitch that, and then include some, but there's so much more to that conversation. Join the Facebook group. I see people talking about this all the time, so do that.
I'll take this quick question from Warren. How can I clear invoices that are waiting to send without sending them to clients? We have invoiced the work from our old system during learning. I would triple check this with support. You can go ahead and mark it paid, but of course you might not want to send them like additional communication that it was paid because that might get confusing. So I would just triple check with that. With support. And then Roger's asking, is there a way to automatically duplicate the name of a ticket and ticket description to avoid copy paste? That is an awesome feature request. There's no way to clone tickets at this time. You could clone a lot of other things in Synchro, so I'll pass that along.
Yes, and Christopher, about the script as admin, just full transparency, like we are in the sales department, so that's over here. For literally all of you asking your scripting related questions, it's over our head and we're just being super transparent with you. Yes. Those are not things we can answer. We know a lot about this product, but we just don't run scripts on a regular basis, so we don't have any need for that knowledge. We let the experts handle that. So support. Or someone in the Facebook group, all of you smarties can get together, you know. I blew our cover, you guys.
I love that. I love that though. You guys are Synchro Smarties. You can help each other out and then help us. Tell us what you learned so that we can help more people. So yes, just definitely please let us know. Derek says, I can no longer copy from the chat window on a MacBook. Is it just my machine? I would ask support for that one. I'm not sure if it's just your machine. Is Mission Control knock an additional 129? Alonzo, you would need to get quoted by Mission Control. I know in our App Center, they do offer discount off of whatever their list price is. So ask them what their real price is and then be like, oh yeah, I'm with Synchro and get that discount. So there you go.
I think they give you like 20% off. It's 10
Yeah.
o'clock.
Yeah.
Woo!
Not in Synchro this session. Oh, I don't know what that one is. Sorry, I feel like that's like a second half of a comment. Sorry, Derek, I'm not sure what you're referring to. Thank you all for being here. We are at time. We will let you guys go carry on with your Friday, get ready for the weekends and enjoy your weekend. Don't work too hard. I know most of you guys are working like 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. Take time to rest, relax. We're happy to have you here. Thank you for being with us. We really enjoy our time together. Talk to you guys later.
Bye, everyone.
Bye.
Bye, guys.